Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I am here with Nick Hodge and we are at the Quest Casino. I always get this wrong, in Spokane. We're at the Silver Symposium, but we're not going to talk about silver, we're going to talk about gold today. You just filmed essentially like a documentary movie about a gold mine up here, right?
That's it.
All right, cool. So a lot of people have been moving into gold. I was just talking with my broker, gold broker, and she has been talking about increases of more and more people are taking their IRAs, their 401ks, they're transferring them into gold because of uncertainty. Everything that's going on with the Federal Reserve, everything that's happening in other countries, monetarily speaking, are starting to worry people. They want to hedge against inflation or hedge against uncertainty. So you were talking about this documentary and I want people to see it. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I went and put boots on the ground at what was Idaho's biggest past producing gold mine. It was run by one of the top 10 gold companies in the world and shut down in the 90s when gold prices dipped and was no longer sustainable to keep the mine operational. But now with gold above $1,700 in US terms, and you mentioned other countries, in Argentinian peso terms, in Polish currency terms, and gold's at all-time record high prices. And so they're working on bringing this mine back into production. And it has a secret, like I say, because it was once an open pit mine. That's when it was the largest gold mine in Idaho. But now they found a significant high-grade mineralization beneath the open pit. So they're going to talk about both bringing it back as an open pit, but now this high-grade underground component. And I went and took footage of the drills turning and talked to the geologist, talked to the site manager, talked to the CEO, and put that all together in a new documentary film that we're debuting on September 8th.
See, that's cool. So now let's step back real quick to when you said all-time highs. I'm sure there's going to be people in the comment section who go, Ninja, was like almost $2,000 or $2,000 about 6 months ago. And I talk about this all the time where people are narrow-sighted when they talk about these price fluctuations, right? If you would have invested in gold in 2019 and you're sitting at today's price, you're doing great. Now, if you would have invested in January or February, you'd be like, oh, I'm down. But people are looking at such a small time in history right now. Have you ever, how long have you been an investor?
I've been an investor since 2007.
Nice. And you've been in all kinds of areas, but right now, or how long have you been focusing on commodities?
Focusing on commodities since around 2013.
Nice. And so I started in commodities in 2010 because I saw the cycle of the currency collapse that was coming worldwide, and now everybody gets it. It was like, talk about currency collapse 5 years ago and people would have said you're nuts, but everybody's starting to dive into the commodity sector. So what do you think about the long-term outlook for gold?
Well, look at Sri Lanka, look at Argentina, look where these people are riding in the streets, and you say gold is down for the year, and down is relative, right? Because
exactly.
The S&P is down over 10% for the year, and the Nasdaq's down even more, and Bitcoin's off 70% from its all-time highs, whereas gold's down something like 4 or 5%. So on a relative basis, gold is doing what it's supposed to be doing and holding up.
Exactly.
I think gold gets back to all-time highs here. It's tested some support in the high 1600s, but I think in a very big way, once we get to the end of this current malaise we're in, the end of this current economic slowdown, if you think back to the recessions in 2000, recessions in 2008, it was on the backside of those recessions when gold really screamed higher, and I think we're setting up for that now.
Well, and honestly, it wasn't really even on the backside of the recession. I don't remember the date the official recession of 2008 was announced, but gold made its bottom about 6 weeks after Lehman crashed, I think late October, maybe early November, and the stock market kept cascading down until the spring of 2009. And what's even another interesting point is the Fed repo window wasn't even open until January of 2009. So gold had already made a bottom before the Fed even did anything to try and really stabilize the markets.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what I'm really excited about, and I don't look at those day-to-days. Now, we were talking last night, and I was talking with your wife, and she was talking about the drone footage and getting really excited. So it sounds like you guys put some real work into the editing of this video.
Oh man, it's great. It's really a feature-length documentary. We started at my house talking about what we're going to see, what I'm going to show you, why I'm so excited about this gold mine, and then we drive all the way to site from my house here in Spokane, all the way to southern Idaho. We take drone footage along the way. We've got footage of the drill rigs turning, and like I say, interviews with all the management, because in these tiny gold companies, it's really about catalysts, right?
Exactly.
And so they've got one rig on site now, and they just added a second rig and are looking for a third, and that tells you something, right?
Exactly.
If they got one rig on site and they're drilling and they want to add a second and a third, it means they're finding things that they want to see. And I was talking to the mining engineer here at this conference, and he says, the core looks really great. And what's important is that those drill results aren't out yet, right? And those can be really big catalyst news events for share prices to go higher, which is why I'm getting this documentary out on September 8th, because I expect them to have results heading into the middle of the month.
Yeah, so something I want to share with Ninja Nation that not a lot of YouTubers do, because obviously mining companies need to get the story out there, right? Because there could be amazing mining projects, but they don't know how to advertise, and then they don't have a good shareholder base, and the price suffers, right? There are companies that actually go out and put a lot of work into getting the word out, and they do really well. I mean, I've seen amazing projects fail. I've seen projects that aren't strong that you go, they don't really have the fundamentals that this company has, but because they're getting the word out, they have a great growth, right? So
yeah, I mean,
let's talk about that.
The marketing strategy is an important part of a junior mining company, right? Sure, the team is important, the asset is important, the jurisdiction is important, the share structure is important.
Totally.
But the marketing budget is also important because, like you said, if nobody knows about what you have, then nobody knows about what you have. And so who's going to buy the shares to send them higher? That's what makes a market, right? Is people getting interested in the stock and coming in to buy it. And so an integral part of whenever I'm doing due diligence on a mining company is, who's telling your story? What's your marketing budget? What are your marketing outlets? Because, if you're not telling your story, then there's no one's hearing it.
I was talking to a mining CEO a couple of weeks ago about what are they doing for their mining, because right now we're going into a commodities bull run. I believe we've already started, and it's going to be massive because countries are vying for resources, especially with all of the ESG, all of the green energy movements, right? They're going to be freaking out because geopolitical, there's so many threats around the world. They got to grab onto as many things as they can. And this one CEO goes, we don't need to put money into advertising. And I go, you're nuts. And I said, why do you think IBM has a commercial during a football game? Well, do you think it's because they think Joe Football is going to go out and buy an international business machine? Well, I said, no, they don't. As a matter of fact, most of the laptops, you don't even find IBMs anymore. And the ones that you do, the older ones, those are built by another company. They do the commercials because they know Joe Football has a 401k and he's got a retirement and he buys stock.
Sure.
And so that's a great, and you could see the light bulb hit his head, and it's because a lot of people go, well, that's a pump and dump or something like that. It's like, no, there is amazing projects out there, projects that you and I have made a good clip of money on, honestly. And it's like, I feel like I want to educate the public to be able to this is how the world works. It's like, this is how you access what most people will never see. And so that's why I want you to watch the documentary, and the reason why, this is not a solicitation to buy or sell a stock or security or anything like that, but this is going to show you the process, what companies do, what a drilling program is, how a company goes from an open pit mine to something deeper, possibly a shaft, or there's even new ways of drilling and actually getting metal out of the ground. So that's what I wanted to share. Is there anything else you want to highlight about the documentary?
Just that I believe it's going to be one of the biggest new gold discoveries in America. It's already got several million ounces, and I think it goes to 10 ounces, potentially bigger than that. And I chronicle why in the video, and I also chronicle what that's worth to another gold mining company, right? I go through some of the recent acquisitions and what the Barricks and the Newmonts paid per ounce in the ground for these mining companies that are building resources, and how high shares could go of this company that you're going to see in the documentary. And the last thing you mentioned there was sort of a deglobalization, people getting worried about where their commodities are going to come from. This mine is here in the United States, it's here in Idaho. We see what's going on with Russia and other countries in the world, and we want to make sure we're getting our resources from North America, from friendly countries, and that ticks that box as well.
Yeah, it goes along with my thesis. I believe that we need to bring manufacturing and business back to America. We want to be investing in our own resources, not buying it from other countries. I don't want that to happen. So guys, I'm going to be watching this documentary. I wanted to bring you this information because I'm going to be watching it because there's nuggets, pardon the pun, of information in this. You're going to learn about the mining industry, like Nick says. You're going to learn about what other companies look at when they're looking to acquire or purchase deposits from exploration companies, junior miners, things like that. I want people ready because as this boom starts to take off, I want you to have the education and knowledge to be able to make good choices when you're investing in companies.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And this is going to launch what day?
It's September 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so you have to sign up to see the premiere.
Cool. So I'm gonna give you guys the link below. I'm gonna be signing up to check out the premiere. I can't wait. With that being said, the Economic Ninja and Nick Hodge are out.